Welcome to Between Two Pastries, a not so typical nutrition podcast. Nicole and Annie are licensed and registered dietitians. Join them as they discuss hot nutrition topics, challenge popular beliefs, and have a blast doing it. Here are your hosts, Nicole and Annie.
Welcome to Between Two Pastries. This is Nicole.
Hey everyone, it's Annie.
And it's not only Annie, it's a welcome back Annie. Annie, how you
Yay.
feeling? How you feeling?
Good. 12 weeks isn't a long time.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't, a lot of people are like, oh, it goes so fast. I would say it's not that it went fast. It's more so there's so much that goes on in 12 weeks that I truly believe there's a fourth trimester and you don't even start with your child and it's ridiculous how short of time they allow you to have.
That really makes a lot of sense. Baby is not just going to fall into routine, just because it's born,
Right.
It's going to take its time, and then you're taking your time finding your groove with this whole new way of living.
Right.
And not sleeping.
Correct. And then you go back to work, but they're not developmentally ready to be away from mom. And I certainly, the people who work 5 days a week, 40 hours and all of that stuff and send their kids I don't know how you do it because these babies are not ready to be away from a parent.
For real. One thing I think is really cool about the UK, because my girlfriend, I think they get 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
They get
Brian's
6
work
months.
gets 20 weeks.
Yeah. Which seems a little bit more real, I think more realistic.
Yes, 100%.
Half a year. I think that's,
Well, and the shitty part is I work in healthcare.
Right.
Really? Why are we not on this bandwagon yet?
Absolutely.
And they're sticklers, this is the day you have to come back. And it's the day you give birth, not the next day. It makes sense. No, it's 12 weeks to the day.
From the day. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's okay,
it's
wow.
super crazy. Yeah.
It's just shitty at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you don't get paid.
Right.
Which, okay, fine, whatever.
Sure.
I would rather have those 6 months off and not get paid.
Right.
But
than just 3. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 months. You're basically covering the fourth trimester when they should still be inside of you. They're still developing.
Sure.
But otherwise, things are fine.
Yeah. And not our topic today, but it's definitely worth.
Well, yeah. And I think,
honestly.
Yeah. And that's why, we've talked about it and we're putting, just to put a plug out there, we're putting this panel together to talk more about body image, pregnancy, postpartum.
Yeah.
And again, this goes for guys too.
Yeah, right.
Because guys,
it's so true.
They parallel the eating of their spouse.
Right.
So,
right.
We're going to talk about that as well. But
right.
The concept of bounce back culture and just, the people, between 0 weeks and 12 weeks who have said, oh, have you lost the baby fat? What baby fat?
Right.
Not that there, and I'm not saying there wasn't, but what does that mean?
What does it mean?
What do you mean by that? Or are you back to running? Oh, you're never going to be ready for your race if you're only running, 20 minutes. Oh, I didn't know you were an expert
right.
on my body.
Super annoying.
Yeah. And the concept, I think, of the mom bod that's not a term, like dad bod. So all things to look forward to in that podcast.
Yeah, that's such a good point too, which that's an excellent point. So yeah, no, that'll be a really good one to kind of dive into. Today. Yeah. So today our topic is still around body image, but really what it is it's kind of retort back to some comments from, people who did listen to it. We had a lot of great, comments of people who related to it, really liked it, thought it was just an interesting way of looking at things, loved having the perspective of men in particular, those who are women. And then you get the few, and I feel like this comes back to us a lot, Annie, but this whole idea that some people still have this idea in their mind that accepting their body image is giving up.
Yeah, 100%, because there's people, books, celebrities, athletes, whomever it might be, that, carry themselves on this concept of discipline and, the idea that everything's got to be hard. Everything's got to be, genetics doesn't have to be why you look a certain way. That's just an excuse. The concept of, or maybe it's even a culture of like, excuses or no excuses for anything. Like, I mean, I remember Jillian Michaels, like, coming out and saying like, I have PCOS, but I don't have to look like I have PCOS. I can just, I can be thin and still have PCOS, la 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 la. So you have PCOS and you're in a small body or a big body or a whatever body. It doesn't matter. Just because you work out doesn't mean PCOS is at bay, like
Yeah.
it's just and so I think that, and I'm not sure if I'm making sense at all, but I think that that is where this comes from, is this weird disciplining, no excuse culture. And so accepting your body is giving up on your body. It's
Well,
giving up on your goals. It's giving up on health, or it's giving up on being whatever you think it should be.
so, and I think that that is where there's the disconnect and the misconception there, because accepting your body is finally allowing it to just be what it needs to be.
Right.
Um, and this whole idea of giving up, yeah, giving up on trying to make it something it isn't, giving up on thinking that you're God and can literally change the genetic profile that you were born with.
Or how about this? The
Um,
hormonal profile.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
can't do shit about what I look like right now.
Right.
But there's a lot of people, well, but you could eat less.
Oh,
Well, you
that's
could exercise more.
well, people need to keep their opinions about
But I mean,
like,
that would be the retort, is
mhm.
because you can always eat less. You can always be at the gym more.
Right, because it's
That's
such an
fucked up.
well, it's an old mentality that isn't
Correct. Super old. It's
true.
like we're back in the 90s with calories in, calories out
Yeah, yeah,
thinking.
because
Mhm.
that's just not the case.
No. And we know that the less we eat and the more we move, the worse our health outcomes will be.
That's absolutely right.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think I just want to keep, and I feel like we keep reinforcing this, but let's just say it again, accepting your body for what it is also means taking care of your body. It doesn't mean not taking care of your body. That's what I
Hmm.
think is so interesting. So, but then I also, that's what I just think is really, really strange.
Do you think people think like they can, like, how people are short or tall and they might not like it and they can control it or not control it? You know what I mean? Like,
Do you know how to stretch bones? Because that's kind of
right.
odd.
So people control weight because apparently that's easier. Hair color, boobs, tummies,
Yeah, no, that makes a
skin,
lot of sense
skin
too.
type.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Botox and stuff like that. Like, we've
Mm-hmm.
created monsters in this world
Yeah.
with how we can basically change ourselves. Let's just look at makeup in general.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
live in a culture where you're never, and we, of course, we've talked about this. You're never enough. You're never right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so how could anyone accept what they look like? Oh, I really like your hair, but I really liked it when it was blonde. Or you know what I mean? Like, there's always criticism in the face of kindness, I feel like, for most people.
Yeah.
Why that is, I don't know. But I mean, do you feel like we've just built a culture of masking who we are and what we really look like, perhaps out of fear? Why do
Well,
people do it?
fear, shame, and acceptance. But, I think that, and that has been going on for quite some time, but those ideas are only based off of unrealistic, not even real images that people are seeing. That's the thing. It's based on something that's already fake.
Right, right. A
And not
designed
only that, I
pigment.
mean, it's also based on maybe 1% of the population that has that genetic disposition.
But it's a loud part of the population, maybe, or maybe that's all they see. Now we deal with algorithms on social media. So you click or you look long enough at something, and now that's what's going to come into your feed. So if you click
Yeah,
on,
yeah, and that's
the
true.
Botox clinic once, now you're going to
Yeah.
start getting all this crap.
So it's weird. Like I remember, gosh, this was a long time ago in my practice, a long time ago. And I was realizing I had a couple of clients at the time, that would come in and say, I have this picture of what I want to look like on my
yeah.
refrigerator. And I'm like, what's that picture of? And it was like somebody else.
Yeah, like DJ Tanner in Full House when she
Yeah.
put pictures of out of the magazine, she clipped pictures of different whoever,
Yeah.
actresses she wanted to look like and put them on the refrigerator and
Yeah. And again, like, okay, that's
Mhm.
interesting. Like, the actress that you're looking at, has like the boy body, has like no body, just like straight everything,
Yeah,
right?
pencil.
And you have like
And you're
the pear
5'1" and
shaped or your,
150.
yeah, or your apple shaped or what, like, how is
Right.
that?
You can't change shape. But again, there's a segment of the population that will not, that pushes this, no excuses. Genetics is just an excuse.
Yeah,
It's
but
just an
again,
ex
it's still, it's bullshit though. That like, that's the thing. It's sort of like, that isn't that isn't real. It's another non-real, but is that like a not another non-real concept to keep people in this continuous, you know,
money spend,
money, but psychological weird
psychological fuck
space. I
up.
mean,
Yeah.
that's really kind of what that is, you
Right.
know?
I mean, you can't help when your first gray hair comes in. That's genetics.
Hmm.
You can't help the way your skin looks. That's genetics.
Right.
You can't help how far away your hips are. That's genetics. So I don't
Right.
understand this concept but my
Right.
weight is not genetic driven.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I know. It's so bizarre. But yeah, I mean, I had this discussion with a new client and had listened to the podcast, and like that's all he could hear.
Really?
That's all he could hear. And I thought it was so interesting because the panel that we had, like, these people are athletic, and do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like living their life and super happy. And do
Right.
you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh
Like with
yeah.
just
Yeah. Living
saying,
life.
like, just, this process has been a process. And, like these are not people giving up on themselves. These are people actually living their life finally. These are people that aren't
With
focusing
confidence.
with confidence, and they're healthy, and they're not letting these ideas run their life anymore. So I'm like, how
And I
did
know those
how did you
people.
yeah,
So
but
it's
it's like,
like personally, they have not given
oh,
up on anything.
right. But it's like,
Far
how
from it.
are you hearing that? So to me, it's
Interesting.
again, it's a filter
Because they worked through
based
things.
on their own fears
Oh,
of, like if I accept my body, oh my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah, so
like live life at
yeah.
that point.
So, I'm just wanting to talk to that list to be, our listeners out there too. Like I hope the majority of you are not hearing that. I hope you're hearing that, body
I mean,
acceptance and allowing more headspace for more joy in your life. And but still it's not about giving up on your health. It's still about like take care of yourself, but like really take care of yourself, but also accept like this is your body's shape. Can it go up and down? Sure, it can, right? But again, if you're
yeah,
taking care of yourself, it's gonna go where it needs to go.
right. And there's nothing wrong with a desire to want to lose weight or a desire to, oh, I wish I were a little bit taller.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always going to be that. Like until you put the work in, which that panel has.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't. That's why perhaps there's that. Well, they've given up. No, they've done
Well,
so
and
much
that's true.
therapeutic work.
They've done their work around it. That's why. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's coming out. But like, there's always going to be a desire. But acceptance looks like, again, I think of it. You're in recovery. Like, I accept that this is who I am.
Right.
It might not be exactly what I want, but I'm able to live life, not think about it all the time, not do, crazy diets and
Right.
exercise stuff. I can just be me. And
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not an ideal, but you know what? I don't think about it all the time.
Right.
I don't waste my life or my money or anything
Right.
on my body.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
let my body be what it is.
That's right.
Yeah, that's sad. Again, knowing those people, it's just far from it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
also thinking about, like, I think about Casey in particular
Mm.
that particular panel. If someone said to Casey that she's given up on her body,
Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth? Oh my gosh.
she's like 120 pounds soaking wet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
that's
super
so
strong,
yes,
really strong. Like she
super
really,
like give me a
I
break.
know.
Like clearly you have, these blurry goggles on
Mm-hmm.
of what people should look like
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
what strength is or what, you know,
Mm-hmm.
body positivity is and stuff like that. So it's just very, very, very interesting. That's for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, hopefully listeners, were able to hear what they had to say. And just, again, it's just people that in theory you could relate to. I know I can relate to all of them some
Absolutely.
way. Like we all go through it. We
Mm-hmm.
all might still be going through it.
Mm-hmm.
We might have done our work around it to not be
Mm-hmm.
going through it, but like going through it doesn't mean we're dieting all the time. It doesn't mean we're, you know,
Mm-mm.
whatever, going to the gym all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The recommendation is what, 180 minutes a week or something?
150.
That's all you need. And
Yeah.
truly that recommendation is not for, you know, I think people think, oh, that's for people who don't move at all. No, that's just for people.
That's right. Literally. But
That's
like
just
for
for people.
everybody.
Right. The whole like serving sizes for vegetables or per day and fruit, that's for everybody. That's
That's
not
right.
because you're some sort of weird health nut. And so therefore you need 4 times the number of vegetables.
Right.
No.
Right. Right. Right.
Fiber recommendation is for
Right.
everyone. Again, these things are for
Absolutely.
everyone, but I think people think that they're different
Mm-hmm.
or that these recommendations are based on an unhealthy soul, and they're not.
I want people to like, when we find if you want to see that as body acceptance is giving up, it's giving up the fight to work against your body, you know?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
just give that up. Give
Yeah.
up
Why is that so bad?
that fight
Hmm.
and like, okay, how can I work together with my body? What am I learning about my body? My body hates doing this. Okay, why do I
Hmm.
keep making it do that? I literally don't feel good when I do that. Or this makes my body, this area of my body like hurt in not a good way. You know what I mean? Like if I
Right.
do that, it doesn't work for my structure, my frame, my whatever, it just doesn't work. Well, let's stop doing that, you know?
Right.
And just because someone is recommending that that's just a good thing to do, it doesn't need to work for you, right?
Right.
So if we can give up this fight to somehow we all have to fit into this same box. And I call it a box because this mentality is still based on a restriction
Right.
that
Right.
I can't accept my body and allow my body to be completely free, completely
Right.
free. But I think that makes people very uncomfortable.
Well, and for the people who are completely free, and some of them, or all of them have different body types,
Hmm.
right? All sorts of body types, from very, very small to very, very large.
Yes.
Free, confident, all the things. And they're looked at as, well, clearly something's wrong with you if you are okay with your body. You're okay wearing those clothes or, whatever it might be. And
Hmm.
it's really sad because it's like that person has a crazy load of confidence and you're not okay with that.
Yeah, right. Why is that a problem?
And then if they didn't have confidence, then that would be a problem. So that
Hmm.
these people, and let's call a spade, people in larger bodies, they don't stand a chance.
Hmm.
They're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't.
Hmm.
Once
Hmm.
you have a larger body, it's like you're just stoned by everyone.
Yeah.
And it's terrible
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people in larger bodies who have confidence and are like, this is who I am and I'm good with it.
Hmm.
And whether, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's great. You accept your body. There's always that concept of health that's then brought up. Well, but you're not healthy. But
Yeah.
you don't get to judge their
Nope.
medical, insides and outsides.
Nope. Nope.
No,
Mm-mm.
they can be perfectly healthy in a bigger body.
Right.
So it's all based on judgments, and it's really, really sad. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you and I are the minority
Hmm.
because you've got, other practitioners, you've
Hmm.
got coaches, you've got
Mm-hmm.
organizations, you've got doctors, anyone you could think of is playing the, genetics is crap card.
Mm-hmm.
The 1,200 calorie diet is still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The no carb, no sugar crap. You've got all of this stuff that just feeds into people's, media, into their lives, some way, shape, or form. And
Well, there's, and you and I both know that any disordered eating or eating disorder, one of the foundations of that is this desperate need for control.
mhm,
And again, we choose our body to create that control with, you know?
mhm,
But what we do is we limit our life experience, though. We limit
right.
the life joy. We also, and this is probably part of why we do it, we limit the feeling. We
I don't think
limit
people want any of that.
feeling anything, and so if we can just sort of stay in this safety of I follow XYZ every day, I follow XYZ, I follow XYZ, there's
Mhm.
something super safe about that. People feel like they have control of their life. It's this very indirect way of kind of, and again, we're talking about body acceptance. How would it feel to just give that up? You
Oh, it's
know?
wonderful.
I mean, but who doesn't want to be fully free in the real form of it? That's the thing, right? It's really
Right.
kind of getting into that piece of, what don't you feel you have control of your life? I mean,
I don't
you
think
know,
people want joy in their life because that's new. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
that's scary in and of itself because if I'm happy, that means nothing's wrong with me. That means
Oh,
I don't
sure.
have anything
Nothing
to
to
work on.
fix. Yeah.
Now what do I do with myself?
Right, 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 right.
I mean, it's such a negative world that people have.
Mm-hmm.
What are they to do?
Right. Yeah, it's true.
Why be joyful? Good
Mm.
God. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
they're totally missing out with this
Yeah.
whole lack of body acceptance piece. Because truly,
Mm-hmm.
I mean this from, all the bottom of my heart. Once you have body acceptance, I would say 98% of the suck in your life goes away.
Right. Right.
And maybe body acceptance comes from, body work, mirror work. Maybe it comes from trauma work. Maybe
Yep.
it comes from, general therapy, whatever. There's
Yep.
lots of ways you get there based on
Mm-hmm.
whatever is going on for you as a
Yeah.
person.
Yep.
Once you get there, honest to God, the suck goes away.
Well, and again, uh this concept of controlling your body is another way of like you're disassociating with your body. You're literally disconnecting with your physical experience, basically.
Right.
It's like another
Yeah.
way of like numbing out in a weird way.
Right.
Um, in creating almost everything you actually don't want. You don't actually want more disconnection in your life. You actually want connection in your life.
Yeah.
No, but it's like
Remember, we die earlier without connection.
right. So it's like people will do the very thing they actually don't want, but they don't realize it because they're
No, no, that's
indirectly trying to
irony.
achieve something they can't achieve because it doesn't exist. It doesn't
Right.
exist in the route in which you're trying to take. So
But the routes that
anyway,
they're taking will kill them.
yeah,
You know, that's
yes,
the
exactly.
irony behind all of
Well,
this.
it's total irony. I know it's very, very bizarre. It's really super bizarre.
I mean, think about all the athletes who die of heart attacks. Like, ironic, right?
Oh yeah,
This-
100%.
we're all or nothing, and all the people who don't do any movement, and then you've got people who do all the dieting, and then
Hmm.
like these extremes that people are taking
Right,
in the name of thinking they'll body accept.
right. If
Okay,
that's even, I don't even think I don't even think people even think about that. I don't even think that they think that that's even an option.
they think they'll like their body, which is not body acceptance.
Hmm.
And that's
Like,
something
right.
that,
Like, oh,
you
if
know,
I'm here, I can
correct,
accept my body, but I'm not here yet, so I can't accept it.
right. And in order
What?
to get there, I have to
What?
climb Mount Everest. Right.
Right. Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's the piece. But again, do people really, really want to like their body when they come up with these crazy goals and
Well, I think, some of this, because we're really talking about almost like even a psychological disorder to some degree, because you and I both know that in a lot of these situations, even when people think that they've gotten where they think they want to be, it's never enough.
Mm-mm.
It's
No,
still not quite right.
no,
Because
that's the
the
disorder
issue,
part.
correct, that is the disorder. It's the, dysmorphia part. And I think it's still the fear of like not stopping. Like I
Right,
can't stop this train I'm on, you know?
right. No, and no one, again, no one cares about body acceptance. No one cares about just the health of their body,
Yeah.
the health of their heart, the health of their
Hmm.
brain.
Hmm.
And in order to have healthy insides and longevity in life, these are all the types of foods we should eat and the intervals we should eat them in and la la la
Hmm.
la. La. I'm
Hmm.
not doing that.
Right.
Okay, so then you really actually don't, you literally just care about what you look like.
Yeah.
Do we need to turn this into a vanity discussion?
Right. I know. Well, I mean, again,
Is this around the world?
now we're getting into, what people value their worth is at, and,
Uh-huh.
I'll be worthy of something if this is different. I'll be worthy of something if I get a boob
Mm-hmm.
job. I'll be worthy of something if I get a facelift. I'll be worthy of something if and I'm not saying that that's true for everybody, but there is a part of that. There's something
Mhm.
around self-worth and personal self-acceptance.
Right. We don't have to get into that. That seems like
No,
too deep right now. I'm not
yeah, it
ready.
does, but it's still, body acceptance is not about giving up on your body. Like 100% is not. In
No.
fact, it's about showing up for your body
Mhm.
hard.
Right.
Showing up for your body hard. It's like,
Confidently walking around with that body.
well, confidently walking around with that body, and it's also kind of thinking about it too. Like you are actually going to stop bullying your body, just like
Right.
you would a kid. Like you wouldn't walk around and watch this kid get bullied up and be like, oh wow, that's too bad. No,
Mhm.
you'd go in there and you'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Why aren't we doing that for ourselves? So when I say that, like
Right.
showing up,
Yep.
like, those bullying type of self-deprecating thoughts, or even thoughts from others or thoughts from media come in, it's like you put a stop from it right there. Like, oh,
Right.
no, no,
Mm-mm.
right,
Don't let it happen.
right,
Don't do
right,
it.
right,
Mhm.
right, right. So anyway, just, you know, getting tired of sort of hearing that, because it's like, wow,
How much people
that's,
hate themselves.
yeah, I mean, anyway,
Yeah, it gets old. It gets really old.
so,
Especially when I hate myself today, so I'm going to do this. And
right,
I hate myself today, so I'm going to do this. And it just keeps changing. And it's just like, oh
right.
my God,
Right.
people
All of
are
these different things
such
of
time
self-manipulation.
wasters.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Because I'm still hoping to feel something other than what I do right now.
right, right, right.
Right.
Deal with your trauma instead.
Well,
Deal
right.
with your issues.
Right.
I mean,
Leave your
I
leave
say
your
that and
body
I'm
alone.
laughing. Yeah, but like, yeah, but you're going about this in the wrong way.
Correct. Right. It
It could be
is. It's always
such a
indirect.
faster, route to getting to where you want to be.
Right.
All right, we don't have to beat a dead horse.
No, we don't. So self-acceptance, body acceptance is about showing up. It's
Yes.
actually about doing your work. Ooh,
Yeah,
dare I
you have
say
to
that?
put some
It's
effort in.
actually about working harder than,
Think about all the years people diet and go to the gym and try to change their body when
right.
they could have just put the work in and taken a couple months and now they're where they want to be.
Yeah, it's so
How about
true.
that?
It's so true. Yeah,
But
it's really true. Yeah,
nah, why would we do that?
right. So
Okay.
anyway, people, take care of yourselves. Take care of your body. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Have questions you want to hear discussed on the show? Find us on Facebook or visit betweentwopastries.com and drop us a line. Want to support the show? Find us on Patreon for exclusive content. If you love the show, find us on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review. Have questions you want to hear discussed on the show? Find us on Facebook or visit betweentwopastries.com and drop us a line. Want to support the show? Find us on Patreon for exclusive content. If you love the show, find us on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review.